The Betrayal of Emperor Michael III. A lesson from Law 2 of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They also become spoiled and tyrannical. But hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends and from enemies. The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. The rise of Basilius, a stable boy's path to power. In the 9th century Byzantine Empire, power and betrayal went hand in hand. Emperor Michael III, young and reckless, ruled more with his heart than with his mind. He was more interested in entertainment, feasts, and pleasure than governing his empire. One day, in the imperial stables, he met a man who would change his fate. Basilius, a common horse trainer of exceptional skill, with a natural ability to tame even the wildest stallions. Basilius quickly caught the emperor's attention. Michael took a liking to Basilius and, against all traditions, elevated him from a simple stable boy to a trusted companion. He showered him with wealth, power, and status, dressing him in royal garments and allowing him access to the empire's inner circle. The court was shocked. How could stable boy rise so high? But Michael, blinded by friendship and trust, ignored the warnings of his advisors. The trap of blind trust. Basilius, once humble and obedient, became hungry for more power. He saw that Michael was weak and too trusting. While the emperor wasted his days in pleasure, Basilius worked in the shadows, positioning himself as a true power behind the throne. Over time, he convinced Michael to remove key advisors, claiming they were disloyal. One by one, Michael dismissed his strongest allies, unknowingly making himself vulnerable. In a shocking move, Michael named Basilius his co-emperor, a decision that would soon seal his fate. The night of betrayal. One fateful night. After a long night of drinking, Michael III lay asleep in his palace chambers. The heavy scent of wine filled the room. The candles flickered and the emperor, lost in dreams, was unaware of the danger approaching. Basilius entered with a group of loyal guards. But he was no longer the humble stable boy. He was a man of power, a traitor, an emperor in waiting. Without hesitation, he ordered the guards to seize Michael. The emperor awoke, startled, staring into the eyes of the man he had trusted most. No words were spoken. No mercy was given. Michael III was executed in silence, his rule ending at the hands of his most trusted friend. The next morning, Basilius sat upon the golden throne. The stable boy had become emperor, and history was rewritten. The lesson from Law 2. Michael III made a fatal mistake. He trusted his friend too much, believing loyalty was stronger than ambition. He ignored the warnings of his advisors, removed powerful allies, and gave Basilius unchecked power. Had Michael understood Law 2 of the 48 Laws of Power, he might have survived. Instead of blindly trusting a friend, he could have strategically won over a former enemy, someone who would have remained loyal out of necessity. Basilius, on the other hand, mastered the art of power. He proved Robert Greene's words true. Friends are more likely to betray out of envy, while enemies, once tamed, have more to prove. In the end, Michael lost everything, not to an enemy, but to the friend he trusted most. Modern examples of Law 2 in action. 1. Steve Jobs and Apple. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, trusted his friend John Sculley, a former Pepsi executive, to help lead the company. Jobs believed that Sculley would always support him. However, in 1985, Sculley led a boardroom coup that forced Jobs out of Apple. Jobs, like Michael III, trusted a friend too much, giving him too much power. His own chosen CEO betrayed him. Years later, Jobs returned and regained control, but this betrayal was a painful lesson in power. 2. Julius Caesar and Brutus. One of history's most famous betrayals happened to Julius Caesar, who was assassinated by a group of senators, including Brutus, whom Caesar deeply trusted. The famous phrase, "Et tu, Brute," symbolizes the pain of betrayal by a friend. Had Caesar followed Law 2, he might have been more cautious about trusting those closest to him. 3. Napoleon and his generals. Napoleon Bonaparte had many loyal generals, but some, like Marshal Ney, turned against him when he needed them most. When Napoleon was exiled, Ney swore loyalty to the new French king. However, when Napoleon returned, Ney switched sides again, only to betray Napoleon once more when he was defeated at Waterloo. Napoleon trusted his old allies, not realizing that loyalty in politics and war is fragile. Final takeaway from Law 2. Friends can betray you out of ambition or envy. Enemies, if handled correctly, may become more loyal than friends. Blind trust in friendship is dangerous in politics, business, and power struggles. This story of Emperor Michael III and Basilius perfectly illustrates a warning from the 48 laws of power. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.